My name is Robert. I'm from Lurgan College. It feels like a support meeting or something. I've been a teacher for 10 years. I've been using iPads heavily for the last 4. The project I'm going to describe to you is something I tried out last year. And really it's been knocking around for a long time, the idea of going paperless. It's been around since the computer age, I suppose, and certainly since the internet age. I certainly remember hearing paperless classroom being a term bandied about when I was on my PGCE. But over the years, I have certainly used technology to use less paper, but I've never gone fully paperless. Until last year, and I didn't do it with all classes and all of my modules. I teach A-level, politics and geography. I just did it for one module with a politics class, and this is my experience. I'm not trying to promote it, not trying to discourage it, just telling you what I did, and you can make your own conclusions. I tried to come up with a good title. Moving on from stationery was about the best pun I was able to come up with. Okay, why did I do it? Well, no good reasons. I had a bit of iPad fever. I've been using my own personal iPad, and then the school bought a load of iPads for pupils, just a class set, not for everyone. And they gave teachers an iPad too, so I was running hot with iPad fever. I had a number of problems, mainly caused by the government. They had a general election and a number of cabinet reshuffles and things like this that basically made a mess of my old British politics notes. And the thought of having to redo them all, I just couldn't face, and it seemed like an easy option to go paperless, because making notes without paper sounded a lot easier. I also had this idea that the paperless notes could also be better, and that I used the word wealthy there. There would be a greater richness in them, that I would be able to link to videos and interactive online activities and colour pictures, which just aren't possible in black and white notes. And I also like the idea that if I chose my links carefully, linking to BBC and The Guardian and The Telegraph, these professional journalists will update my resources for me, so I would never again be losing touch and have to redo it all. So those were my initial objectives. They pretty much worked out, so those are the positives of the project as well. What did I actually do? Well, I've sort of described that. I went completely cold turkey with the paper. No paper at all. I just made the decision, and it was really hard at times, but I made the decision just not to use paper at all during this particular unit. I never gave out any paper. I didn't let the pupils use paper in class. We did everything without paper. The notes were online, basically on a website that I made. I'll show you them in a minute, they're not too exciting. We used the school iPads, just booked them out for every lesson that I saw them, 7 periods a week. I got an old router off my dad and plugged it into the wall in my room, and the ICT technician, although he told me not to tell anyone he did it, he said I had to say that I did it. I did it. I did it. I had nothing to do with it. But somehow it started working. And we were able to use that. We've since got a sort of official one now, but it's not really up and running just yet. And then there were allegations, which I completely deny, of a sort of unofficial bring your own device policy where pupils came into my class allegedly with their own devices and were able to use them. I never saw anything like that. So that's what happened. This shows you what the notes look like. This is the front page of the particular AS website of mine. I tried to make it iPad friendly. It fits nicely on an iPad screen. It's got fairly large icons there, so pudgy fingers can just click and take them to the topic. Then behind that, it's not so nice. It's really very boring indeed. It's just a list of links organised by me into their topics, and the pupils can use those to just like they would have used good old-fashioned photocopied stapled notes. And very few of those links go to anything that I made. Negatives, there's a negative sign at the top there. Logistics weren't great in that the iPads were stored at the far end of the school from me. So I did a lot of running back and forth, and iPads are very portable, but for some reason we bought this huge box. It must be about 4 times the size of yours. For 11 iPads, and it really is quite heavy. Going down the stairs was difficult. So booking the iPads, remembering to book them so that they were available, and going and getting them and leaving them back, it wasn't particularly easy. There were a few technophobes in the class that really didn't like it, and I felt uncomfortable, and that made me uncomfortable. And the final negative was just fear, particularly coming up. This is an AS exam class. The module we did it on was worth 60% of their AS, and the temptation to start photocopying frantically in the last few weeks was almost overwhelming. So there was a fear that this could all go horribly wrong, and the exam results would be awful, and I would be to blame for not giving out notes, and I'm worried about parents ringing in and things like that. Very genuine fear there. I mentioned most of the positives before of automatic updates and things like that, but a few of the things that I wasn't sure about when I embarked was how the exam performance would go. I certainly didn't expect it to improve. I was just hoping that it wouldn't go horribly wrong, and it didn't, thankfully. I'll show you a graph in a brief moment. One of the positives that did come out of it that I didn't really intend was a greater use of independent learning. Because I wasn't giving them the notes, they had to go and get them. I was giving them less, but they were somehow finding more, and that was good to see, because it's something I've struggled with as a teacher. This was the exam results. I left school today wanting to get home and see the kids before I came here, and then I realised I forgot to look up what the exam results for this module. So I ran back. This is it. And this is the last sort of 4 or 5 years. You can see it's pretty much on par, so that's a big phew moment there. And then, just to finish off, somewhat ironically, I had the class that I did this project, the class I did this project with, I had them today. I quickly handed out some paper on a post-it note, write down your experiences. I promised not to look at them, and I didn't actually. I really haven't. I just photographed them and stuck them onto the presentation before I came here. But maybe if I just flick through them, there's only a few, you'll see some of the ideas coming out. Okay, not all positive by any means. I don't know what that says. Planning was good, or planning was poor, or planning was goof. Not too bad. I do know who wrote that one because I talked about that at home. Yeah. So will I do it again this year? I don't know. It won't be until January. I'll probably take on board some of these ideas, like using it for examples, but still giving notes for the theory. I'm certainly not going to throw it away, because even though I planned to do less work, it was quite a wee bit of work in the end, but I enjoyed it because it was on my iPad. Just to finish off, it hasn't put me off, and I'll maybe speak about this next year, who knows. I've brought Kindles into the school library, and we've gone paperless in the library, and we've lent out more Kindles this year than we have books in the last 5 years. Thank you very much.